Good morning, everybody. Please leave comments in the comments section. Hit like and subscribe. This is Tom and the Servant for another Raw Talk. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Steve.
Because I stay up most nights and then I sleep kind of like a few chunks of hours in the day, like a couple 2 hour chunks or 3 hour chunks or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I'm thinking about because I'm listening to like 24/7 a lot, and um you know how Bev talks about level all the time, and like so like I'm listening to them talk about they're still talking about the boat, the curve, right? Over the water, right?
Okay.
And even though we have the black swan that debunks it, right? But it's like I'm trying to think of a way to explain it, right? Where like people will understand, like anyone would understand, right? And I used to describe it as like, if you can't resolve the angle to the thing you're looking at, then your whatever's in front of that will raise up in your vision. But I'm thinking like a better way for me to explain it, right, is it like when you're looking at water, all the way out to the horizon with say nothing on it, right? That water way, way, way out there is like halfway up in your vision, halfway up. So you know what I mean?
Or more, yeah.
Right, or more, right? So basically, the best way I can explain it is that it's a slow ramp of the flat water going up, a very, very slow ramp that goes up and meets the sky in the middle, right? Now, when a boat,
Convergence.
right, and so that's how you see it, right? It's still flat, but that's how you see it, right? And then when a boat goes over that water, right? When it reaches the point where it starts to raise up in your vision, right? And the boat keeps going, well, it's going past that point, and so it's like going through like a ramp. Like there's a ramp and it's going through that like a water hologram ramp, right? And the further it goes out, the more that water raises up until you don't see the boat anymore because it's beyond
Our
where
vision.
right, because the ramp is going up and the boat is going out, right? The water is going up and the boat is going out,
You know
right?
what video I want to find again? I just
Yeah.
saw it like 2 weeks ago when that guy during a sunset, when the sun was like halfway down the horizon, he
Yeah.
zoomed in and brought it back up over.
Right.
That
Right.
I we should actually have that video mirrored.
Oh
That is
yeah.
to me, that is the best evidence ever. No one had ever done that to my knowledge. And then to see, I never thought about it, bringing the sun back in, because we bring ships back in all the time that are
Right.
supposedly over the curve. But this was the sun that's supposed to
Right.
be 250 million miles away.
That's right. That's
That,
right.
do you know who did that?
Well, I know someone who does stuff like that is a DRTH, DIRTH,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Dave,
Weiss.
whatever. Yeah, David Weiss. He even does like
But do you know
uh
who did that particular one is what I'm asking.
no. Um it could have been Thrive and Survive. He does observations like that. It could have been Red Pill. He does observations like that. Ranty does observations
I'll
like that.
find it. Yeah, I know people that, yeah,
Billy Gill, maybe.
excuse me.
Sorry, I don't know offhand, but Dave also has one where in 4K camera, when it's really cold, right? Um, like if you're high enough over the atmosphere, the thick part of the atmosphere where all the pollution is, um, the sun will go away and shrink into like a little dot and then
Really?
disappear. Yeah, and that's what that to me was like. was like groundbreaking for me, because if you can show that one time that, because the sun goes away but the light stays behind, right? So like if the sun was going over a curve, like as soon as the sun went over the curve, it would be dark, because
Right.
it's the sun is gone. It's through a wall of earth. You know what I mean? But like because the sun is gone, you know how like after the sunset it still stays light out for about another 45 minutes?
Hmm.
That's because the sun is gone, traveled beyond your vision, but the light is still behind it because it's still lighting up stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it has to get like way out of your range to where even the light leaves too. You know, but
Right.
it's a gradual thing, because a lot of that light absorbs, so it'll be like some light just disappears because it absorbs, and then the sun takes away whatever it's producing out. Because light's a funny substance, man. Light's a
Yeah, I don't
funny
think anybody
substance.
understands it.
I don't either. And like I was thinking about like that maybe light is just like like not information itself, but like light holds information, like it allows you to see things, right? So it holds images, it holds heat, it holds sound, it holds cold, whatever the information is, the light can hold it like a placeholder. But I don't know, man. That's way far out there. Someone will probably save the ball earth with that kind of thinking.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. But
it seems like um, the scientists that get famous, right, are the ones that when when the ball is debunked, they create the new science to keep it alive. Instead of scientists that find the truth or some new discovery, they get their credit in a reverse way. Like
right.
I, Einstein came up with all that stuff to save the ball. You know, you know what I mean? The ball, or oh well, movement is just relative. When that's ridiculous, because you're either moving or you're not moving. It's
Right.
it's it's a constant or whatever. But anyway, like I was watching some pretty good like end time stuff, and I've been trying to look for like little channels, like with maybe 1,000 subscribers, couple thousand subscribers, that describe stuff in kind of a different way, you know.
Hmm.
And I ran into this one guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Dave J. And he only has like maybe 3,000 subscribers. It's a pretty small channel. And he talks about like like once you're saved, you just start seeing things differently, and that the truth is like the ultimate thing that will save you, right? But in this world, the truth is like the last thing people want, you know. So it's like it won't help you here, right, on Earth, but the truth will make you free, like uh, overall, the end game.
Hmm.
And man, I'm just so grateful, man. Like yesterday, I felt so healthy and grateful, and I'm just like looking forward to meeting God, man. You know, and you know, I'm always going over like people that talk about like um that like believe like faith alone isn't enough. I've been really focused on that for people that have been saying that kind of stuff, and I mean, it sounds too easy because it is, right, because it's a gift, right? But like it's like if faith wasn't enough, right? I'm trying to like really hammer the point home, is if faith wasn't enough in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, right? Then there would be no reason for him to do it.
Well, it's like this. Put it
You know
like
what I
this:
mean?
if faith wasn't enough, his death, burial, and resurrection wasn't enough, we could never get there
That's right.
because there's nothing you can do. You
There's
could
no
never be
thing,
good enough to get there.
and there's definitely nothing you could tack on to really like
Nope.
tip the scales. Like,
Because
oh, okay,
your
well,
sin will outweigh your good.
oh yeah. Well, that's the whole thing that like I don't think people get. I think people see like the world as like there's evil and there's good, you know, and it takes both to kind of make the world go around, you know, like a
Mm-hmm.
yin and yang balance kind of thing. But like what people don't realize, well, a lot of people that are lost don't realize this is that there's no equal opposite to God. There's no like
No.
opposing force that's like uh, yin and yang with God, right? The yin and yang is between the devil and himself, you know, and what God is holy, right? Which means we can't even exist next to him with one blemish,
Well, you
because
look at even
you know what I
when
mean?
angels appear before men, you drop to your knees. Just
Yeah,
imagine what if it was God that came before you.
yeah, it's amazing because every
I
time
mean,
you see, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, just I mean, if you think these people feared and trembled at the sight of an angel that was in human form, just think if God come down. I mean, you die.
Oh my
You would
God,
you would die.
I was just thinking about how much fear I would have knowing that like he could crush me without I mean I could be destroyed this in like a second, you know? But yet I'm safe because he loves me, you know? Like that's a trip, isn't it? Like
Hmm.
like standing next to somebody that I mean could just end you in like a piece of dust, you know? And then because you know that you exist with a being like that because he wants you to live, you know, because
Right.
at any moment he doesn't have to have you there whether you're good or not, you know what I mean? So it feels good to know that you're wanted, you know, but it also you have this kind of fear that like wow it could be over in a second. But what I love most about the Bible is that when God makes a promise, right? Because God can't lie, you know, and so
Right.
you know it's ironclad when you read it, you know, that like we get paradise forever, you know, for eternity, you know, and
Right.
and
Right.
and just how solid of credibility that really is, you know.
So let me ask you this:
Yeah.
that video of that cop choking out that girl for
Yeah.
no reason. What did you think about that?
Oh my God. Well, see, okay, so I first started watching it, right? And it was like a cop like being like too rough on a female, right? At first, right? I was like, "Oh my God, that's he's they're really supposed to call like a female cop, and there was a female cop there. She's the one that's supposed to deal with her. You know, just like but that's in America. This was in some other place. I was sickened from the very beginning. But then when I found out it was just for not having a mask, and she had
Hmm.
a doctor's note in her pocket before she could even get her doctor's note. I mean, I'm sure she probably had attitude like, I don't have to
So
wear
what?
it, you know.
So what?
Right, right, exactly, exactly. I mean, I'm sure she had attitude, but like give her a chance to give you the note. You don't just go rough housing people, especially a female. You don't know how old she is. She could have been a teenager or whatever, you know? Like
Well, here's the
so
thing.
much was wrong with that.
That guy that
So
was
much.
filming that was her boyfriend. That
Yeah.
guy had used deadly force against her when he started choking her.
Yes.
Deadly force is used against you. You have the right to use deadly force back. That woman wasn't guilty of anything worthy of deadly force.
No
I don't know why
way.
that boyfriend didn't kick him in the face and get him off of her.
I
Right
would
there
have.
shows you what is going to
Yeah.
happen to this country if we give up our guns. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is time for Christians to take a stand and quit backing down and being the wimps that they are. Let that
Yeah.
happen to someone in my family when I'm there. It's not going to go down like that. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
No.
There's
Well, I'll tell you
absolutely
what.
no excuse for any bystander to sit by and
And
watch
watch
some
that
girl
happen.
being choked to death because she
Oh
didn't
my
have a
God.
mask on.
Oh my God.
You know, we are to defend ourselves. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So God will take his vengeance out on that pig. But while you're there and you can stop some of that, you are to stop that.
Yeah.
That guy has no authority, none, to do that to that girl. None.
Well, Well, what really caught me off guard is when you normally see a police officer choke somebody, right? Say a male suspect that's like violent or something. You usually see him do it in some kind of a like a trained way, like from behind, with two arms or something like that. But when he started to like one hand choke her from the side, it looked like domestic violence to me. It looked like freestyle fighting, And I'm like, there's no way you're supposed to be putting your hands on somebody like that, like in that way. Because it looked like
Absolutely not.
it
Absolutely
looked
not. That was
it
not a
looked
arrestable offense. Maybe a
no
ticket.
way.
Okay, you give her a ticket, but that shows you their ego, their pride, how they
Right.
think they're bigger and better than everybody else. They're superior.
Yeah.
That stuff needs to end, and that's going to happen in this country real soon. I'm just stunned that they haven't gone after our guns yet, but I guarantee you, everyone
Yeah.
keeps talking about they're going to take coins, they're going to take the coins, the digital dollar. Who cares? They're coming. The big thing they're going to come take the guns, because then
Yeah.
they can do that to you freely, no
Yes.
consequences. I'll guarantee you, if
Ooh.
everybody in that area was carrying, that would not have happened, or it would have been dealt with. He had no right, none. She
Right.
wasn't threatening anybody. She wasn't harming anybody. She wasn't committing a crime and got
It-
choked out and slammed to the ground.
Not only was she not doing anything wrong, and it, I mean, really anything wrong, she was also like not a very imposing. It's not
Nope.
like she was some 250-pound female that was with muscular, Like
Right.
like this was a little girl basically,
It was a
maybe in her
tiny little
20s.
girl.
Yeah. And it kind of make it not, I mean, not kind of, it makes you sick to think that like there's so many sheep, right? Like I don't care if like say like if that was happening to my kid or something, even if he had done something wrong, I wouldn't want a cop to be treating him like that,
And it wouldn't
Like,
happen in
yeah.
front of me.
And then they charged her with assaulting an officer, which is like
I
a
got a feeling
totally
though that the male officer might get charged.
I mean, he better. I
She
mean,
might get charged because she kicked that female cop,
yeah,
maybe,
she,
and they're gonna do that. But that
but she's
that
trying,
male cop needs to be fired
but she
immediately.
was, but she was trying to get them away from her.
I
You
I,
know,
I understand.
it wasn't even like a kick, like an offensive kick. It was more like a
Defensive.
push you, yeah, push
Yeah,
you away from me kind of kick. You know,
yeah.
but I get it. She did kick her, and
Well, just how they
they,
are. I mean, they're always going to get something on you when they're in the wrong. Even if she never would have kicked, they would have charged her with resisting arrest or something, no matter what. Okay, but that guy needs to lose his job. And if that
I,
people in that area don't stand up against that injustice, shame on them. I mean, they already let them take their guns. Now you're going to let them do this to your people?
oh my
I mean, that's
God,
what I'm saying. It's time for people to take a stand. I mean, it's enough of this. Because I mean, we're pretty much exempt for the most part from this type of violence in our country, but it ain't going to be for long.
no, no, we're very
They know
close
they got
to,
to get our
yeah,
guns. They know
it,
it. And believe me, they're going to cause an event to make that happen. They've been
well,
trying with all those fake shootings all around in the schools and all that stuff, but that really hasn't helped push their agenda. That's just like the little warmer upper things to kind of see how people react and get a little bit more people on their side little by little. But they're
yeah.
gonna come and they're gonna come do search, house to house searching to get those. So you better have
Well,
stuff that isn't registered.
see, that's what I think they're gonna do when, like, they're gonna. Maybe we won't be here for this, but like, this probably
I'm gonna
will happen.
prepare as if I'm going to be.
Right?
Okay,
Exactly,
to
exactly,
look at it
exactly.
that we may not be here, that is a
Right.
coward's way out of it.
No, no, I
Christians
know,
better
I
be
know.
prepared to die.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, not for
we
evil,
should
but
be
for
ready to
standing
die.
up for God, standing up for your rights.
Yeah,
I mean, for thousands of years they've been killing Christians for standing up for what they believe in. That hasn't changed. We need to do that today.
yeah, yeah. We should be ready to die today.
Every
You
day
know,
you wake up, you
yeah,
should be ready. There is no excuse for that boyfriend to sit there and just film it and let that happen. He
that's
should have
right.
kicked that pig in the face so freaking hard to get him
Yeah,
off of her. But I didn't realize it was his boyfriend till later in the video. The more I watch it, just the more pissed I got.
Well, it
God will take
almost sounded
vengeance out
like
on those people. But you have a
it.
right to defend your loved ones. Period.
It
Period. Or
almost
any
it
human being.
it almost sounded like he was being kind of immature about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the boyfriend, like,
He's
like
scared.
not that he was joking, but that he was like, more talking crap than trying to impose like a force towards him. You
Because
know
they're
what I mean?
scared.
Maybe, and I don't
They
blame
are.
them if they're kids. If they're kids, I don't blame them because she even said like to that cop, You don't even know how old I am," you know?
But here's the
And
thing.
you know,
It's time to get that fear out of the people. And the only way that you can get fear out of the people is for other people to stand up.
yeah,
Stand up for what's right.
yeah.
That
No, hey, I'm
you
with
know how
you. I'm
bad
with
that's
you.
gonna haunt her the rest of her life, and no one helped.
Oh,
Everyone
it'd be
sat around and allowed it to happen
it's traumatic. It's
for the rest of
traumatic.
her life. Can you
Yeah.
imagine her trying to sleep at night?
She probably won't even feel safe with a man anymore. That he'll protect her or something. Like she'll always have that flinch. Oh, that breaks my heart.
I know.
That that right
Just
there
think if
breaks my
that
heart.
was your son or your daughter.
Oh, I would have kneed that cop in the face and went to prison.
Absolutely.
There's no
Absolutely.
there's no doubt about that. My
He,
knee would
he
have
should
hit
have
him.
been taken care of where he could never harm anyone again.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't have
I
that. They're not
no.
above the law. And he went way above the law. He
Well,
used deadly force on a little tiny girl
well, that's
for
how
not
they're
having a
gonna get.
mask on.
That's how they're gonna get here because if you really think about it, right? There's no upside to being a police officer willingly because of all the bad press you get and all that stuff, right? It's like the only reason you would be a cop is because you like that kind of authority, like you're that type. Not that I'm saying all cops are
You're
like
right,
that,
though. Most of them, not all, but most of them.
right?
And if they're not that way in the beginning, they get that way. They think they got this power, but they don't
Yeah,
have it. It's
and
not real. It's not legal.
they like that power more than they like the money or the justice, or it's not even about justice. It's just about like that they like feeling control over somebody or something,
If
you
any
know?
cop watched that video and thought that guy did nothing wrong, has no business being on a police force.
Yeah, yeah, because there was nothing about her that was threatening enough to where he couldn't just talk to her, you
Just
know?
write her a ticket.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right? It's a fine, right?
yep, that's
You
right.
don't get put in a death chokehold and slammed to the ground for not wearing a mask.
That's right. And if she keeps walking, you write a report and turn it in. This is what she looked like, and she just kept walking. You know,
That's how
I
they're
mean,
supposed to handle it, at least as far as I know. I could be wrong on what,
well, for
but
an infraction,
just
if
like here, the
if
state has the
she
state
didn't
can't
steal
make these
nothing.
laws against us. The governor has no authority over you to do that.
Well,
No
I
one,
see it
very few
like,
stand up to that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I see that if like she stole something, or if she hurt somebody, then they have to like detain her. They have to chase her down. But for like an
Yes.
infraction, if she won't stop for that, then you just write her up. Okay, this is what this lady looked like. She was.
How about just look at the notes she had in her pocket? How about that? How about starting at the lowest form you can?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let me see that. No, this guy thought he was something special. He was going to beat up a little tiny girl and choke her out to
Oh,
show that he was the boss, you know, and he got away with it.
he
And that
did.
just
And
emboldens him even more.
yeah, I wonder what his partner thought of him after that. Like you can't have any respect for a guy that does that.
You can't respect for anybody that does that. Absolutely not.
You know. Even if you work with the person and you know him to be a good person, to see that kind of thing, you're like, oh man, that changes everything I feel about you. I
Yeah,
would have,
and the only way
I would
you would
have,
know that if you only met him that morning, because obviously could you imagine what he's like to his family?
probably to his kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Beating his
nightmare.
dog, beating his kids, beating his wife.
Well, see, that's why like people need God. People need to accept the truth about what this world is. Like we're this is a brief moment, right? And we're supposed to move on and be with God after this, right? And if everyone knew the truth from the very beginning, we would just be existing here, man. Just trying
Hmm.
to, get enough to eat and maybe sing some songs. Someone busts out a guitar. It shouldn't be hard, But
And
for
why and yeah, and that's what I don't get. See, but that's
this,
just the part of
you know,
the Bible we don't understand and how it's it is going to get fulfilled. But it's like, why do people want to boss and control other people? Just let everybody go about their day. They're working for you, paying stuff in your pockets with the money you're raping from us. Why don't you just be happy with that? These guys
right?
ain't billionaires because they're geniuses. They're billionaires
Oh,
because they got power and raped everybody out of every cent they earn.
that's what they do. That's what they
This
do.
goes all the way back to when he first started building the railroads. Whoever owned that property, they owned everybody that worked there. They owned the stores, the banks, everything. The bars, the saloons, the casinos, the whorehouses, so everything you made went straight back to them.
That's right.
So why treat them bad?
In fact, it got to the point, right, where now they don't even hand us money. They hand us this paper, right, with backed by nothing, right, and we hand it back to them.
Or
And
a
they
plastic
keep,
card, you don't even have it. You
yeah,
just have a plastic card in your wallet now.
that's right. And they keep all the gold. They have it all. There's no gold for us. You know what
No.
I mean?
Yeah.
they they have everything that's worth everything. Like they hand you some coupons. You go and eat, whatever, but food that's half of it's not real, half of it's altered in some way, or they add some kind of chemical, you know. And hey, look, that's great that there's warnings on stuff, but they shouldn't even put that stuff in your stuff,
Right. Right.
and what people don't realize is they're so overt about it, right? Is like just like, okay, say there might be some ingredient that you can't pronounce that's really not that much bad for you in one item, right? And then there's the same thing in another item, right? Well, when those two things mix together, it's poisonous to you, you know. But the companies are
Absolutely.
separate, so their liability is only for that one thing that's not really harmful, but it's in there and it doesn't need to be there, right? And they're killing you, because
Right.
I like Coke and Twinkies, right? So now I'm gonna die, you know. And it's insane how they are able to like achieve this way out in the open, like Dick Cheney was like CEO of Halliburton, or he was a chairman or something like that of Halliburton. And then
Yeah.
we go to war for all the whole 8 years, right? And basically that defense budget's just getting handed to Halliburton, and it's insane. Like they're giving their friends all the money, man. Like they're everywhere you go, they're giving all the money to their friends. The space program, which does nothing but show you some CGI pictures, convince you you're on a ball, and
Right.
you're incentivized as a scientist to defend the ball. I mean, people act like, oh, well, how could everybody be in on it? Well, because it pays 50 grand a year or whatever to teach kids about fake science, but you get ridiculed and laughed at for telling the truth to people. So there's no
Right.
market. There's no market for the truth, you know. And if you want to survive, teaching science, and you can live with yourself, of course you got to lie to yourself and tell yourself that it's true, so you don't feel so horrible about harming children. But you remember what Jesus said in the Bible is that you would be better off if you had a millstone around your neck and we were thrown in the ocean than to harm or harm a child. And I think lying to them about science and dinosaurs and all that is probably the most amount of harm you can do to somebody.
Absolutely.
Because at least if you tell somebody the truth about what we are, where we come from, and what the deal is, right? Then that person, right, young or old, whatever, can say, hey, I I want to follow God or I don't. But at least you know that it's true to begin with.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Dear Heavenly Father, I turn to you today. I repent of all my sins. I believe that your Son, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for my sins and was resurrected to life on the third day. and forevermore he lives. Father, I ask of you to baptize me with the Holy Spirit right now. Change my heart and renew my spirit. I invite you, Jesus, to enter into my heart. Change me, save me, and be the Lord of my life. Right now, in your mighty name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.